Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to the show. Today I'm going to be showing you a few of the new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. Their notable moves, their stats, what I think is going to end up being competitively relevant. First off, we're going to start with Meowscarada. This is the fully evolved form of your grass starter, Sprigatito. It ends up being grass dark type and fucking bipedal for some reason. Weird. I don't know what their obsession is with making cats bipedal in the end stage, but whatever. I also don't know what's up with giving these Pokemon with Protean cracked stats, dude. So they gave it 110 attack and 123 speed, which is already pretty nuts, okay? And they gave it a nuts ability in Protean. Protean did get nerfed this generation and only works once every time you're out in battle. So if you come in, you proc Protean, you have to switch before you can proc Protean a second time. I think that's going to be fine. Get some good moves like Knock Off. This is one of the few Pokemon that still get Knock Off by level up. Then, like, your stab is kind of weak. You have to run, like, Petal Blizzard for your physical grass stab, or you can run its new move, Flower Trick, which is a 70 base power grass move. It never misses, and it has a high crit rate, which is also why Focus Energy is listed under notable moves, otherwise I wouldn't have. Then you have other cool kind of support moves. Like I said, Knock Off earlier. Then you have U-Turn for momentum. You have Spikes. If something can come in and check you, maybe you get up Spikes and then later it can't. Also has good coverage moves. Stuff like Play Rough, Thunder Punch, Brick Break, Acro, stuff like that. Pokemon will probably be fine. It'll probably be better than fine. This Pokemon will probably be pretty good. Then we got Big Skeledirge? Is that how you pronounce that? I have no idea how you pronounce that name. But this is Big Fuecoco. Not gonna lie, I saw that 66 base speed stat and kind of got off the Fuecoco hype train. But the more I started to look, the better it kind of seemed in my head. There's actually a few different paths you can take this. You can run like Will-O-Wisp and Slack Off, and run a more defensive set, and then run like Shadow Ball and Flamethrower for your last two slots, just like strong stab moves that can beat down whatever you've neutered with the burn. Or you can run Flame Charge and try to kind of patch up that middling speed. Get your speed up, and then it gets a move called Torch Song, right? So it's an 80 base power special fire move, and it boosts your special attack by one stage every time you use it. So maybe you run Flame Charge, Torch Song, Shadow Ball, and then like coverage with Earth Power? Maybe something like that? That also seems fine. This Pokemon might have a few different routes it can go. I don't think the Unaware ability is going to end up being terribly relevant with this Pokemon, but maybe there is some fringe case where it is. When I got off the Fuecoco hype train, I immediately got on the Quaxly hype train. This Pokemon has potential to be pretty nuts. Between Moxie and with 120 base attack, that's a high number. I know the 85 speed looks worrying, but wait till I tell you about the signature move it gets, Aqua Step. So this is an 80 base power physical water move. It's nothing special, until you find out that it gives you a +1 speed boost. Now if you kill something with Aqua Step, you get the Moxie boost, you basically end up with a 80 base power water type Dragon Dance. Which is pretty insane, honestly. And then you get like Stab with close combat. You can also run Wave Crash if you don't want to run Aqua Step. Maybe you just run a Choice Band set or something. You can run Sword Dance and Agility, but I don't see them being used when you can just set up with other moves between like Aqua Step and Moxie. I don't think you need either of those. And then it gets utility moves with U-Turn to grab momentum. And it's also one of the few Pokemon to get Rapid Spin. I think this Pokemon's going to be good. I think this Pokemon's going to be really good. This is another Pokemon I don't know how to pronounce. Oinkalogne? Oinkalogne? Something like that. It's a pig. I'm just going to call it the pig. There's a male and a female version, and they have different stats. And neither of them are particularly promising. We can kind of compare the two, go back and forth here. The female has more HP, the male has more attack. The female's just bulkier, right? They have the same move pool, which is also unimpressive. But the male version gets a new ability called Lingering Aroma. When a Pokemon makes physical contact, its ability becomes Lingering Aroma. It's just Mummy. It's just a reskinned Mummy. And the female gets Aroma Veil in place of that. This Pokemon will not be competitively viable at all. But one thing I will mention is that it does get fully evolved at level 18. And both of these Pokemon have insane, or both of these versions rather, have pretty insane stats at level 18. I can definitely see this like kind of carrying you through early game Nuzlocke. Hey, you guys remember the last few years when people were clamoring for a Dundunsparce evolution? This is it. It's just longer. Yeah. It's got a lot of HP. It's got a decent amount of attack. Fairly bulky. It also has like decent special attack. Notable, it still gets Serene Grace, which is fine. Maybe you can just flinch things to death. Rattled raises your speed when boosted by when hit by a Dark Bug or Ghost move. This Pokemon can't be hit by Ghost moves, so that's probably not. It probably won't ever get used. You'll be running Serene Grace when you do use this. And when you do that, you'll probably be running stuff like Glare to paralyze. Maybe you just go Body Slam to paralyze, and then trying to flinch with Rock Slide. You have a few other support options like Yawn, Stealth Rock. It gets Roost still. It gets a new move called Hyper Drill. It's 100 base power normal move. It goes through Protect. But it doesn't, I don't think it really does anything special enough to really warrant using. A lot of these Pokemon will get Ice Spinner, and I guess I should go ahead and mention that, what it is now. It's an 80 base power physical ice move that I believe gets rid of terrain when used. This Pokemon gets a bunch of special moves. The most important one is probably Boom Burst. 85 special attack with 140 base power stab move is kind of nothing to scoff at. To give you an idea, a few years ago, Swellow was running a spec set because it got Boom Burst, and it only had 75 special attack, and it didn't have nearly as good a coverage as Dundunsparce has. So on the special side, you have Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and also all the stronger versions of all those moves. Blizzard, Thunder, and Fire Blast, so maybe you go that route and just fire off a really strong Boom Burst most of the time. Oh, Spidops, they have done you dirty. This Pokemon does not have good stats. It has an okay move pool, though. Sticky Web, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Taunt. That's a pretty good support package. For moves, it gets... I mentioned Circle Throw here because with all those spike stacking, maybe you can Circle Throw stuff out and force them to take more chip damage. Force those Toxic Spikes to spread. You also have Memento in your support package. Your offensive moves, you have stuff like U-Turn, which is kind of also support. First Impression, which is also kind of support because you need a Revenge Killer. Lunge, Leech Life, Sucker Punch. A new move called Silk Trap. So this is Protect, and it lowers speed on contact. So if you use this move, something makes contact with you, its speed is getting lowered. Stakeout, this Pokemon's attack's not good enough to use it, but if it forces a switch, which it never will, because no one is scared of this Pokemon, it will do more damage to the Pokemon coming in. But nobody is scared of this. And if I mention this for the pig, I suppose I should mention it for Spidops. This does get fully evolved at level 15, I believe. Even though these stats aren't good, they are good at level 15. So, once again, maybe it carries you through the early game of your Nuzlocke. Lokix, I believe this Pokemon is pronounced. I love this Pokemon. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of that 102 base attack, that 92 speed. It's really nothing special. It's not gonna be OU. I think this will see use in one of the lower Smogon tiers. I think it's fine. It gets Tinted Lens, which, what is that? It makes it to where if something comes in, it doesn't even have to come in. If a Pokemon would normally take resisted damage, it is slightly boosted. So I think they take like 75% instead of 50%. Something like that. As far as moves goes, this gets Lunge, Throat Chop, Sucker Punch. It gets First Impression, which is pretty good. It gets a move called Axe Kick. Apparently, this move has been in the game. I didn't know it. I think it was in Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's a fighting move. It's 120 base power, 90 accuracy. It has a chance to confuse the target. And apparently has a high jump kick effect. If it misses, it hurts you. Pokemon also gets Swords Dance, Agility, stuff like that. You maybe taunt something. It'll probably just be choiced and like you turning out and clicking whatever move you want to. Because since you have Tinted Lens, you don't have to worry about whatever comes in more. You can just get Chip and then come out, come back, try again later. Good mon. Rabsca. A bug psychic type. I think this Pokemon is going to be very annoying in the lower tiers. I think what it's going to end up running is probably Cosmic Power, Stored Power, Recover, and then Bug Buzz to catch the dark types that want to wall your psychic move. It has fine bulk for a Cosmic Power set. 85 defense, 100 special defense, 75 HP. It's not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. I think that's probably what it's going to end up running. Also, if you just want to run a spec set in the lower tiers with like Bug Buzz, Psychic, then like 2 coverage moves of your choice, that's also probably fine. It also gets a move called Revival Blessing. This is a new move, only 2 Pokemon have it. It has 1 PP, and it revives a Pokemon in your party that is fainted, and brings them back to half health. So it's basically a revive. You've never seen a mechanic like that in Pokemon? From a Pokemon's move? It only has, like I said, it only has 1 PP, so you can't spam it the entire game. I just feel like there's other things this Pokemon wants to do. I feel like the Cosmic Power, Stored Power set's probably going to end up being better, maybe even specs. Might just be better. Don't let your Pokemon die. Houndstone. The removal of Poltergeist from this game has been mighty unfortunate. I'm sure there's a few Pokemon that still get Poltergeist. I guess I should say the tutor for Poltergeist is mighty unfortunate. This Pokemon does not get many good Ghost-type moves. You get some good coverage. Crunch, Play Rough, Fire and Ice Fang, Stomping Tantrum, Psychic Fangs. And then it gets a exclusive move called Last Respects. This is a 50 base power, 100% accuracy, Ghost physical move. But the power is boosted for each ally that is fainted. So maybe you run a late game Houndstone sweep. I don't know, I don't really see it. Maybe if the Poltergeist move tutor gets put back in the game, this Pokemon will see some play. Until then, probably not, because it has no good Ghost moves. It has to run like a... what is it? Phantom Force. Probably not good enough. Also, when you use this in-game, Shadow Sneak is an egg move, and if you don't breed it, you're stuck with the lake until level 41 when it gets Phantom Force. Probably not worth using. Also gets Sand Rush and Fluffy, but like, who cares when it doesn't have anything else positive going for it. Espathra, I believe, is how that Pokemon's pronounced. This Pokemon will be fine, I think. 101 special attack, 105 speed. A new ability called Opportunist. Now, when your opponent boosts a stat, Opportunist makes you boost the same stat. This Pokemon will not be losing any Calm Mind Wars. You cannot play Calm Mind Wars with this Pokemon. Because if Espathra Calm Minds and then you Calm Mind, Espathra will Calm Mind a second time. You cannot play that game with this Pokemon. So I think the real opportunity with this Pokemon lies in its hidden ability Speed Boost. Then you run a Modest Nature, because you don't really need a whole lot of speed anymore. I think you probably run like Calm Mind, Psychic Dazzling Gleam, probably Shadow Ball in the last slot, something like that. Maybe you run Protect to make sure you can get the speed boost like every other speed booster has ever done. But also maybe not. Pokemon's fine. It's not like OU fine or anything, but it's fine. Also, I guess I should mention it has a new signature move called Lumina Crash. It's a special move, Psychic, 80 base power, 100% accuracy. And it sharply lowers the opponent's Spidops. So generally, I think you're better off just boosting your own Spidops, or your own special attack rather, with Calm Mind, and then like clicking the more powerful Psychic. Farigiraf, I believe. This is the Giraffe Rig evolution we've all been waiting for. That 60 base speed is pretty disappointing, isn't it? Maybe you can override that with a Nasty Plot Agility Double Dance set. That's kind of like what coverage moves do you run? You probably run Psychic and like Thunderbolt, right? Something like that. Or maybe you even drop Psychic, because if you get both of them up, then stored power is up to 100 base power, huh? Maybe. Maybe you run Double Dance or Giraffe. Or also maybe you just run Double Dance fucking Giraffe Rig with Eviolite, huh? Is that just better? Maybe. It gets 2 new abilities. Cud-Chew. So you eat a berry, and then you regurgitate it, and then you eat it a second time next turn. Seems slow. Seems like a noob trap. I don't think it's as good as people think it's going to be. An Armor Tail, especially if you're running the Double Dance set, because people are going to be wanting to use priority moves to kill you. Armor Tail is probably what you want to use. No priority can be used, so people can't Sucker Punch you to revenge kill you after you've gotten up your agility and your Nasty Plot and killed a Pokemon. I don't think it's going to be particularly good, but it'll probably find a place in a lower tier somewhere. Wugtrio. You want to talk about Pokemon that won't find a place in a lower tier? This is it, dude. This Pokemon is dog. 100 attack and 120 speed, but it gets like no coverage and no moves and no good abilities. Sandveil is going to be banned in Smoke and Play, like it usually is. Gooey, you have to be bulky to pull off Gooey, because the Pokemon's speed being dropped doesn't matter. That's what Gooey does. On contact, the Pokemon that made contact with you, their speed gets dropped. And it doesn't matter if their speed is dropped if you're dead. And if a Pokemon has made contact with Wugtrio, then Wugtrio is dead. Rattled. Raises speed when hit by Ghost, Dark, or Bug moves. If you're hit by a Ghost, Dark, or Bug move, Wugtrio is dead. This thing is very frail, and it's not very strong, and it doesn't get any moves. It gets a new move called Triple Dive. It's 30 base power, 95 accuracy, and it hits 3 times. But I think it hits 3 times every time. It's not like Triple X, so where each hit has individual accuracy checks. This Pokemon sucks. Dondozo. This Pokemon reminds me of Wishy-Washy. 150 HP, 115 defense, 65 Spidops. It's pretty fucking bulky. 100 attack. Seems good, right? We get look into the notable moves. We have Curse, so we can boost that attack, that defense. It lowers their speed, but like, who cares, right? Sorry, 35. We got some good, okay, coverage moves like Earthquake, Rock Slide, Crunch, Ice Fang, then Headbutt. Heavy Slam. This Pokemon looks heavy, so maybe we can do that. As far as Water Stab goes, you have a few options. You have Liquidation, you have Aqua Tail, Waterfall, which you're never going to click because you can't get a flinch. You're just going to end up going Liquidation with this. Or you go more offensive and you go with Wave Crash. Wave Crash was in Legends Arceus, but it was 75 base power. You do take recoil from it, but now it's 120 base power, so you're more willing to take that recoil probably. Another Pokemon with Unaware. And another Pokemon with a new exclusive move, Order Up. So, this is an 80 base power physical dragon move. Dondozo has a Pokemon that it's meant to go with in doubles. And that Pokemon has 3 different colors. It's yellow, orange, or red. So basically that Pokemon will go inside Dondozo and like give commands from inside. And when you use Order Up, those colors matter. If it's yellow, you get a speed boost. If it's orange, you get an attack boost. And if it's red, you get a defense boost. It's a doubles gimmick. It doesn't matter in Smoke and Play. In Smoke and Play, this is probably below average, I'm going to say. I don't really feel like it does enough. It just feels like another Wailord, another Wishy-Washy, which is all kind of floundered, really. Veluza! This Pokemon I am cautiously optimistic about. Got a lot of new stuff going for it. Let's talk about the new ability it has first, called Sharpness. It boosts the power of slicing moves. This Pokemon gets a few slicing moves: Night Slash, Psycho Cut, and the new move that I believe is exclusive to it, Aqua Cutter. This is a 70 base power, physical move with a high crit rate. I believe it's a Night Slash clone. Night Slash might have 75 base power though, but it's close. Also gets another new move called Fillet Away. This sharply boosts attack, special attack, and speed by cutting your HP. So it's Shell Smash, but you're paying HP instead of defensive stats. If you're able to get this Pokemon in safely with something like Cyclizar with a Shed Tail, get in behind a sub, click Fillet Away, and then click Fillet moves. Seems fine. 102 attack gets doubled, 70 speed gets doubled. Might not be terrible. Alright, boys, that's going to be that episode. Let me know if you think I missed anything, what you think these Pokemon are going to end up running, anything like that. Share any sets you're theory crafting, any sets you're playing with, down in the comments below. Anything you're looking forward to out of Scarlet and Violet. Be sure to keep coming back for more analysis of these Pokemon. Thank you so much for vibing with me, playing some Pokemon with me, and I love you.